to Virtually Yours at Your Library, a panel of teen library staff that are working in Arizona libraries. These are your colleagues that have provided some really interesting programs during this time. My name is Donna Throckmorton, and I work at the Arizona State Library, and I'm a library services consultant. Many of you are doing amazing work, both now and even before the pandemic hit. And many of you are in a time where you're using this time to plan how you will connect with your teens in your community. Whichever stage of planning or programming you are in, I think the panelists that will be sharing during this session will inspire you to try something new. I want to introduce our Virtually Yours panel members and share a fun and interesting fact about each of them. Michele Brumbaugh from the East Flagstaff Community Library. A fun fact about Michele, she moonlights as DJ Baby Bok Choy when she isn't working at the library. Deborah Dwyer from the Phoenix Public Library Agave branch is a born and raised Arizonan who's only ever lived in 2 houses but has had 17 different jobs. Jean Kilker from the Maryvale High School Phoenix Union School District baked about 14 different cookie recipes for Christmas gifts this year. You know how we all have quirky things sitting around on our desk at work? Dianna Manasse from the MCLD Northwest Regional Library currently has their library's virtual programming mascot, Ghost Super Kitties, sitting on her desk. Thuan Nguyen from the Chandler Sunset branch admitted that he is not so great at driving an automatic vehicle, which is pretty unusual for most people, but he has only owned cars with manual transmissions. And coming to us from the Pima County Oro Valley Library, Pamela Park's go-to comfort binge TV show during the pandemic has been Schitt's Creek. Unfortunately, Nicolas from the MCLD Southeast Regional Library had a family emergency come up and isn't able to join us, but I will relay the information about his library's teen art contest. And a strange but true fact about Jeff Stoffer from the Mesa Public Library is that he has an egg sitting on his desk. When he obtained his first library job that came with his very own desk, he thought a random art-like item on your desk was a requirement to be a professional. And so a stone egg on a stone pedestal has made the move with him to each of his desks since. Each of the panelists will share their program, and we will wrap up with Q&A at the end of the presentations. When you are submitting your questions in the chat, make sure to indicate if you wanted it to go to a particular panelist or who you would like to respond to the question. All right, we're going to start with Michele.
Hi, everybody. My name is Michele Brumbaugh. I am a library clerk for the Flagstaff City Coconino County Public Library at the East Flagstaff Community Library branch specifically. And that's the branch on 4th Street in Flagstaff, Arizona. And I also facilitate our Girls Who Code Club, which is what I'm here to present to you today. So what is Girls Who Code? It was founded by Reshma Saujani, the CEO, in 2012. It's a nonprofit organization which aims to support and increase the number of women in computer science through online self-guided tutorials, workshops, and mentorships. It also aims to help young women and individuals who identify as female feel supported and know that a career in computer science is achievable. And most importantly, it lets kids and teens know that mistakes are part of the human experience and that making them is how we learn. It teaches kids 4 core concepts, which are bravery, to be bold and take risks, creativity, seek new ideas and create new solutions, purpose, know what matters to you and how you want to impact your world, and resilience, learn from setbacks and to keep trying. So how does our club run? So our library has one club at the East Side branch, which is led by me. My role is that of a facilitator. I guide the teens through tutorials, which are already available in the curriculum on the website, so it's pretty easy that way. Experience in coding isn't necessary to become a club facilitator, but it is super useful in my experience. Prior to Girls Who Code, I had independently taken coding courses online through Coursera, Rice University specifically, and on Udacity in both Python and C++. And being referred to as a facilitator and not a teacher takes a lot of the pressure off from needing to feel as though you have to be extra knowledgeable or like some sort of supercomputer genius to lead a club. So it's great. We're all there, we're all making mistakes, and we're all learning. So timing for our clubs, attendance usually varies between 2 to 5 teens per club meeting. Getting consistent attendance is a challenge. We have club meetings once a week on Saturdays from 4 to 5 p.m. For our club's spring and summer programming, we met during the week with similar attendance difficulties. Teens just have so much happening these days. It's hard to get schedules to coincide with all the extracurricular activities they have going on. So far, our club has only used the mini club curriculum that's available on the Girls Who Code website, and that's approximately 10 weeks long. It seems to work best with the programming blocks at our library. So a typical meeting outline for our club, we have a greeting and check-in, which is approximately 5 minutes. We have a sisterhood activity, which consists of a fun, creative, socially distanced activity that takes approximately 10 minutes. They have sisterhood activities available on the website and the curriculum, but sometimes I scour the internet for something that seems suitable for the club members. After our sisterhood activity, we have a Women in Tech Spotlight video, and those are all available on the Girls Who Code website as well at HQ or headquarters. And they take about 10 minutes to watch and discuss, and the discussion questions are available on the website as well. But you can also create your own, so it's flexible that way. Then we take approximately 30 minutes to code independently, ask questions of one another, etc. And then for the last 5 minutes of club, we discuss how our projects are going, and we do shout outs, which are actually used in computer science. And it's something where you tell club members what they're doing well. You stand up and you talk about things we've been impressed with in each other's code. So for final projects, on the Girls Who Code website, it's suggested that club members work on a group project, but with our varying attendance, I've found it's much easier to let them have free reign and pick independent projects. And that seems to have worked well in terms of helping encourage attendance and as far as pacing is concerned. So our fall club members are currently still working on their projects in their own time. Our club wrapped up at the end of November. So there were no finished projects available to view yet. They've sent me bits and pieces of their projects, but we have two big projects, a website about mental health during the COVID pandemic, and the other is a website that will give visitors a comprehensive overview of Indigenous history and discuss its absence from American history. So those are 2 projects I'm excited to see finished when they're ready to share them. And last but not least, how can you start a club? Easily. It's free for anyone who's interested in starting a club. And the pre-made curricula is all available online at Girls Who Code. There are 2 different age ranges of curricula available on the website. There is the one that's pertinent for this seminar or for this summit, which is grades 6 to 12. And then there's a curricula also for smaller kiddos, so 3rd to 5th graders. Also worthwhile to note is that once enrollment reaches 3 members, at least prior to the pandemic, this was the case, there are additional free incentives. Free t-shirts for each club member and free snacks are available for club members. So they can be delivered or monetary reimbursement is possible with proof of receipt. So if you'd like to get in touch with our regional coordinator and start up your own Girls Who Code club, it's really easy. It's free to do. It's a lot of fun, and it's really exciting to see what the kiddos come up with. So just go ahead.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much, Michele.
Yes, there we go. It's my turn. Deb Dwyer. I'm a librarian here at the Agave branch in the Phoenix Public Library System. What we have started since June, about the second week we came back from being out for the pandemic, we realized that we weren't going to be serving our customers and our teens especially. And I have spent years doing a build it and they will come kind of system where, you know, I provided consistent, relevant, fun programming. And then I know that if you build it, they will come, but if you stop doing it, they will all disappear. So we wanted to keep the audience engaged. So we decided we wanted to do take and make kits. It's very similar to what we were doing as drop-ins during the summer for the teens, where they come and do a craft with us or some sort of activity. But we modified it to do a pickup for the couple of weeks we were going to be curbside only. It has been extended a bit. So we are still curbside. So we have added to our goal and our purpose of doing these, the goal of transitioning our customers back into in-person programs someday. We're keeping them with us. They're keeping them engaged with us. And we're actually finding new audiences, the ones that were too over scheduled to come, you know, on a Saturday afternoon or a Tuesday night or whatever it was. They know what we do, what is interesting. They might have discovered that we are cool, or at least trying to be cool. I mean, cool as a 40-year-old can be. So we're trying to get them in, and so we're doing a lot of that. Our kits are, you can switch, no, leave it, sorry. So our kits are for teens. They're relevant to their age and their interest level. We try to keep it something they would like to do, something they would like to have on hand, but it's not just a craft, it's a process. So they're learning how to tie knots, which kids do not know how to do. Braiding, pom-pom making, 3D paper crafting, regular paper crafting, card making. We're giving them skills and tools to maybe have a new hobby, maybe something they want to do, maybe they want to spend their time on this and develop it out, and they can do it in small little ideas and different crafts. They also, if they don't like that thing, have a one-off craft that they can do. So we do a bunch of different things. We create all of our own directions. We do a sample, we take pictures of it, we write out all the directions. We provide most of the materials they need to do to complete the craft. We have a list of the materials that we can't provide. So at our location, we have 0 funds. We have been doing this since June for over 30 weeks now with 0 funds. We have been very creative, but we can't provide glue and scissors in every kit. In fact, we don't provide them at all. We make a list of what they would need to have. And it's simple things that they would have at their houses. I don't expect them to have a hole punch, but I expect them to have some glue. So we try to have material. We always have kits that either provide the materials that they shouldn't have at home or might not have at home, but we don't pick crafts or activities that we can't provide the materials for. We have done over 600 kits that have already been picked up by the community, by our teens. We don't do any kind of big advertising. We have signage at curbside. And so we know that our teens in our community are being serviced by this. And that's the extent of our advertising. So we have 0 advertising as far as big social media or anything like that, and we have 0 funding, but we are making an impact because we've done over 600 We've got plans for the next 3 months because it looks like this is going to be a long-term thing. We try to know the neighborhood. So like we started in the summer with large quantities of the kits we're making each week. And as, you know, school happened, as some spring break happens, we modify the numbers for each week. And we plan activities and kits we know we could do larger amounts of with the stuff we have on hand and the random stuff that is in the building for the, if we have large amounts of that kit gets planned for like the spring break week. So it's very doable. It's very much a thing that we can provide that they can do when they need to, and it brings them back to the community and kind of keeps them a part of our community, keeps them coming back each week to get a new kit and maybe get some materials and some books. We can provide a service to them that just they don't have elsewhere. Yeah, so that's mine.
Thank you. Now to Jean Kilker.
I'm putting this up. Hi, everybody. Jean Kilker, Maryvale High School, Phoenix Union High School District. Our librarians in our district have been busy with all sorts of innovative online virtual book clubs, a silent book club. Some have partnered together to do big book clubs, but mine is called Voracious Readers. We've done this in person, an English teacher and I, for about 12 years. That in the summer we look at the Internet Movie Database and come up with any movies that are coming out as teens to go with teen books. Then the kids read the book. On a Tuesday after school we discuss it, and on Friday after school we would take them to the theater and then out to dinner to talk about the difference between the book and the movie. Well, at the beginning of this year, the kids came and said, "Are you going to do Voracious Readers this year?" And immediately, you know, when kids ask something, you say, "Oh, of course." And then he went, "Oh my gosh, how am I going to do that?" Well, fortunately, we had 2 collections given to us from Sora Overdrive and Mac and Via, which provided online ebooks with multi-use. And I looked through those. It took a long time. And then trying to find a movie to go with the book. And of course, there was not going to be a movie that was current that we could use. But I came up with several pairs and had the students vote as to what they liked. So in September, we did The Cure for Dreaming, which was about a young girl who wanted to be a suffragette. And we had the movie Suffragette, which is, I'll talk about the issues with that. Then in December, we did Little Men, because last year we'd taken them to see Little Women. And next week is Daddy Longlegs. So yes, these are old-fashioned, but I talked to the kids that, you know, we have enough trauma and tragedy and chaos. What do you think of, and I did the book talks for them. What do you think about these that are just nice? They're quiet, they're interesting, and they just love the movies. Well, on Friday, on Tuesdays in our teams, which is what our school uses, we have the book discussion after school. And on Friday, we've tried various things to show the movie. Now, in our neighborhood, a lot of the kids don't have Netflix. We've tried Netflix Party. That takes a while for even the kids that have it to figure out how to join the party. We've tried other subscription services, but we've done okay. And the kids have really liked it. So this is something that they've chosen, they participate. And one other thing is I do go buy individual packets of microwave popcorn, and my principal was generous to do the funding for the postage. And so each kid for movie afternoon received U.S. mail, which they also thought was just terrific, that they got something in the mail of a microwave popcorn to watch during the movie. So on the screen shows some challenges with the movie. They didn't have it, keeping it fun. And then the movie share sites have been problematic, but we do the best we can. I really thought I'd only do this once, and then we'd be back on campus and be able to show the movies. Well, that didn't work. But YouTube, of course, is a good place to look for complimentary movies, even if it's not the exact thing to go with the book. So thank you, everybody. I hope you try something like Voracious Readers.
Now on to Dianna.
Yeah. So I meet virtually with our teen group, which are called Guardians of the Library, once a week. As a way for them to earn extra volunteer hours, we asked them to watch 2 of our virtual programs and then bring some feedback to our meetings. We realized really quickly that our teens loved other virtual cooking programs that our district was offering. They watched every single one that was offered and had lots of valuable feedback. So I was not surprised when they began talking about programs that we could offer that they wanted to do something similar, and they came up with a recipe swap. After some conversation, we envisioned something so much better and are proud to bring you Cooking with Teens. So Cooking with Teens is a 20-minute monthly program that kind of looks like a cooking show, but kind of doesn't. We have 1 or 2 volunteers that are the hosts or hosts each month, and they kind of determine what the show looks like. So some of the teams wanted the program to be more like a cooking show where the audience watches them try to prepare the food and they walk them through the different steps. Others wanted it to be them revealing their recipe, talking about it for a few minutes, and then having them and or their families trying it. With the latter option, we can schedule 2 teams at once, and it depends on if they have willing participants in the household, obviously. One thing that is consistent, though, is how they determine what is being cooked. And this is kind of the fun aspect of our show and how I got the teams really excited. So I actually pick the recipes, normally something I know that will be fairly easy to cook, and it will take a short amount of time to prepare. And then I send them a list of ingredients. If you live in an area where the teens don't have as much of a capability of getting some of them, there's some food insecurity, see if you can prepare a kit with some basic ingredients for them to pick up. So at this point, they only know what the ingredients are. They have no idea what they're cooking. So I print out a copy of the recipe and I put it in a sealed envelope, and they come pick it up, and they're not allowed to open the envelope until the day that they start filming. So it's really fun to watch them unveil this recipe. The very first one that we did was loaded mashed potato balls, and the girl kind of started to chuckle right away, and she was like, I don't know how to make mashed potatoes. So it was fun to get her to walk her through that. We've also done a Taco Bell Crunchwrap Supreme, which was a lot of fun to see them try to figure out how to fold it and get it to look like it's supposed to. So once they have everything filmed, they upload the file to a folder on our group's Google Drive. We do the editing of the video and upload it to our YouTube channel. We use iMovie to edit and combine our videos, and we always try to create some sort of intro that welcomes our viewers and introduces them to our teams. We never share last names, and we ensure we have their parents' permission to have their videos shown. So it's been a lot of fun to try and come up with some recipes and see them get excited about food. You can do so many different things with this program and get them excited about healthy foods, things they would never try, cultural foods, all sorts of different things. Plus, they get volunteer hours. time to engage with their communities, and a way to showcase their skills. So it's a lot of different things. And the best part, I get a break from being on camera for virtual programming. So get cooking with teens and try it at your library.
All right, thank you. Now Thuan from Chandler.
Hello, everybody. This is Thuan Nguyen from Chandler Public Library. I work with teens and I work for teens in our community. I want to thank everybody for letting me share one of Chandler's amazing programs for teens today. First of all, we all know that COVID has libraries reimagined the way we host programs. The program I'm going to be discussing today is online gaming. For some of us, we might not be interested in gaming because we haven't played games such as Space Invaders since the late 70s, Halos from the 2000s, but nowadays a lot of teens are playing games, and that's just how it is. They have devices with them on their phones and whatnot. So I'm going to discuss an outline of how we, Chandler, create a way to play and interact with our teens online. The first thing we did was I got my teen advisor group and got input from them because they were always asking me, Mr. Thuan, we want to play online, and I wasn't sure how to start it, so I wanted to get information from them. So I asked them see what the interest level was and if they can share with their peers if they were really interested. So one of my teen advisor council members created a survey which really just asked what kind of gaming platforms, games they played, and also if they did play, what kind of prizes they'd like. So we got that going, and it took about a week to get all the information back. I then submitted a proposal for administration for approval. So I wanted to give them all the information from the teen surveys, rules and guidelines that we would abide by, and also a small budget for the prizes that we were going to give out. And with the prizes, we were going to do it by e-gift. So this whole program was all online, from gaming to prizes. The teens did not have to come into the building to retrieve their prizes. I then coordinated times for my teens that were going to be moderators to have practice runs, just to cut out the glitches and situations where it might arise during the real game. So we decided what rules and behaviors and language we were expecting, how we score the game. The game we ended up playing was called Among Us. It came out a couple years ago, and it's still relevant, actually, which is amazing, because usually nowadays something that comes out in a couple of years gets antiquated. The game is still relevant, and I just figured out it was something that kids could download for free. But so on top of downloading Among Us, they also needed to download Discord. That was the way that we would communicate with the teens while we were playing the game. So there was 2 downloads they needed to have, which was Discord and Among Us. Then after that, we created on the calendar to advertise the city's calendar, and we wanted the teens to also share with their friends the event. And when we did that, our first program was during Christmas break last month, and it was pretty successful. We had about 30 participants, and our next one is going to be at Hamilton tomorrow. So that'll be pretty exciting. So we're hoping that this game will continue, and maybe we'll change to something else. But this is the first time that we've done this. I feel like it's been pretty successful, and I'm hoping that we can do other gaming events where teens can participate and not feel left out, because I feel like during COVID, a lot of teens are right now feeling a little alone, even though they have online school. This is a social way to connect, a way to have a little challenge and participation, and it doesn't hurt to have prizes, especially if it gets sent to your email. So overall, I am very happy with this program, and I think Chandler has done a great job in promoting it. And like I said, our next one is tomorrow at Hamilton, and I believe next month downtown Chandler will also run it. So if you guys are interested in it, let us know, and I will definitely share all the information I have so I can have you guys have a successful program as well. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Thuan. We can't wait to hear how Hamilton goes. All right, Pam from Oro Valley Library.
Hi. I've been a YA librarian with Pima County Public Library for a long time, and I'm currently at Oro Valley Library. And I'd like to talk to you about a virtual volunteer program that I and a group of other YA librarians started up. And, well, how did it happen? First of all, we heard from the teams. Like most library systems, we have had a volunteering program at all of our branches every year, during the summer, also during the school year. And when we had a shutdown because of COVID, everything came to a halt. And then we came back up with limited services, and we started hearing back from some of our teams. And they were wondering, what can we do to volunteer? And so we thought to ourselves, well, the teams would like to have volunteering opportunities. And so we started thinking about how we could do this to make it safe and really also have an impact on the community. And so we decided we would have weekly Zoom meetings and also create something that they could do, in the safety of their homes. And also in that process, be able to generate volunteer hours, because so many teams need those volunteer hours for school or for scholarships. And the first project that we came up with actually fell into our laps. And that was the Pima Love Notes program. And what happened was Pima County Health Department had actually come up with this idea of creating little notes to send to seniors and their caregivers. And they had a whole list of facilities in Pima County that were accepting that. So we thought, this is what we're going to do. And on the Pima Love Notes website, there were templates for cards. So we decided we would create some kits to send out to library branches that consisted of printed out templates as well as cardstock, and we had some colored pencils. And so we created these kits, but we also decided that there were a lot of art supplies that they probably would have in their own homes that they could use, and so to make it possible. So we sent the word out via a library newsletter that we have available through our community engagement platform, Savannah, and there was a sign-up link on there. And surprisingly enough, we heard back from about 135 teams who were interested in volunteering. As it turns out, in the end, only about 35 of them really committed to staying through with it. But the interest was out there, and we had them creating these notes. And in the end, we ended up with about 800 notes that were made by these teams. It was really amazing to see. And some of them were so creatively done. As you can see in the image there was one that was like a pop-up. There were several pop-up ones. And so every single facility that was on the list got a supply of these love notes. And we met once a week and were able to share, what the work we were doing and how they were coping during the COVID-19 pandemic. And so it was a really good way for them to stay connected. And at the end, we had a survey, and they all felt that it was a really satisfying kind of activity. They felt that they had made an impact in the community, and also it was very relaxing to work on it. We went on to do a second project, which was a civic engagement project, where the teams were trained to share about how to register to vote and how to fill out the census form. And obviously, most of the teams were too young to vote, but they were sharing what they knew with their family members and older friends. And then they wrote about it afterwards, about the experience, and all of them felt that it was a very valuable experience for them to learn about civic engagement. And the most recent project that we've worked on has been one on mental health. And it's similar to the Pima Love Notes, but we wanted to make encouragement cards, which were modeled after artist trading cards, where there would be art on one side and a positive message on the opposite side. And these are created for their peers, people their age, because so many teens are experiencing the stresses of the pandemic. And to complement that, we partnered with NAMI, the National Alliance for Mental Illness, and they have an office here in town, and they have presentations. So we had them give us a couple of presentations which the teams felt very engaged with, and it gave them a stronger understanding of what they were doing to reach out to other teams. The Zoom meetings really added to the connected learning element with the community members, and so it gave them another organization to know about in town. This is the NAN organization. And in the process, they have picked up these volunteer hours. So in the end, I would have to say that we feel that it's been a very satisfying program for the teams and very successful for us to be able to feel that we fulfilled that need for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Now, since Nicolas wasn't able to join us, I'm going to share a few of his notes. They are running a virtual art contest, and he started this with his, what he termed underutilized volunteers during the pandemic. So it was teen initiated because many of his advisory council members were naturally artistic. That is something he already knew about his teens. And so he put together this art contest. They were allowed to submit up to 3 art pieces each. It was judged by a panel of his fellow staff members. And the grand prize winner was a new book that the winner was able to select from a list. And then there were also participation awards where the teens were able to select from a stockpile of books they still had from summer reading or whatever. They did an online showcase, and you can actually go view their online showcase right now. It just premiered yesterday. And the judges also created short videos, and they talked about why they liked the artwork. And I thought that was really interesting, that it was great feedback for the teens to receive that positive affirmation about their artwork. So they made sure that every artist had at least one piece that was, mentioned by the judges. He learned that you need to give yourself plenty of time to celebrate the teen artists and provide incentives. Now I'm going to show you some of the great art that was submitted. So the wonderful picture in the upper left-hand corner with the gorilla and the baby gorilla, that was actually the winner. So that's a fun little anecdote. So that was the teen art contest. And it also, like others had mentioned, it kept that relationship going with your teen council so that you don't lose them during this time. Yes, they're all very different and beautiful. I'm sure there's many more, and you can go to the MCLD website to see that. Okay, Jeff, your turn.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jeffrey Stoffer, and I am the ThinkSpot librarian at Mesa Public Library. And I am a makerspace librarian. So my job is to run the makerspace and get people excited about creating stuff and using our equipment. And that is where App Artist comes in, because App Artist is a hybrid program, if you will. It is a program where people get to listen to me and watch me create things for an hour. And I do it all on my iPad. Now you're like, Jeff, iPad, right? Well, earlier in the year, I wrote a LSTA grant that I was awarded for doing an iPad graphic arts program with teens. And the idea was that teens don't utilize the equipment in our makerspace. So I wanted to create something where teens would be excited about creating stuff with our equipment. So 50% of these graphic design programs I would do with the teens would make something physical, make a material, make vinyl cuts of things, or laser cuts or laser burns or any kind of cool stuff. So what I did was, because of something that happened earlier in the year, we decided that we were going to make videos for the teens. And so every month, twice a month, I've come out with an hour-long video that shows how to create something either with vector graphics, which are the kind of graphics that can either be as tiny as a thimble or as big as a skyscraper, because they're based on art and or not art, based on shapes and things. Raster graphics, which are kind of like those hand-drawn graphics that if you get too big, they get a little bit fuzzy. And pixel art that sort of reminds us of all of our cool favorite old school video games from the 80s. So that is what I've been working on, and it has had a lot of success. We've gotten about 250 to 300 views of those videos, and I think we have about 6 or 7 up so far. And I think the real cool idea here is that do what you know in your videos. So I like to teach how to make things. And so I used the vector graphics to teach how to do laser cut lines. But then I also taught how to do raster graphics to show how to do those burns. So if you notice on that slide, we have that really, really cool cup holders for all the Miss Pac-Man characters. So down the road, in the next couple of months, we'll be changing App Artist and we'll be upgrading, allowing teens to be able to get their stuff created. So what I'll be doing is I'll be showing how to do something, maybe with vector or raster graphics, and I will challenge the teens to create something and send it to me. And then I will either vinyl cut or laser cut that object and be able to provide that for them to pick up. And it's pretty exciting to be able to know that those things are available for them. So once the libraries all open up, we will have those excited teens about using the makerspace.
Thank you, everyone, for your time in preparing your presentations. I can tell from the comments that a lot of people were inspired by your programs. And if anyone has any questions, they can reach out to the presenter, Michele Brumbaugh, Girls Who Code, Deb for her teen Take-A-Make kits from the Phoenix Library, Jean Kilker for her virtual book group, Dianna Massey, Teen Cooking Challenge, Thuan for online gaming, and Pam Park from Oro Valley Public Library for the many virtual opportunities she has for her volunteers, Nicolas for the virtual art contest, and Jeff for the iPad app artists. So if any of you have any comments or questions, you can reach out to them personally, or you're welcome to reach out to me for more information.